Alright, today we are once again playing with epoxy. Today we're doing something a little bit different, something I've been wanting to try for a little while. I am trying to make micarta. If you don't know what micarta is, it's basically any fabric, burlap, canvas, nylon, denim, any regular fabric. You soak it in epoxy, compress it, and it creates a hard composite. Because my mini projects, I have a lot of scraps of camouflage, so I figure, you know what, why not do just a giant mix of random camo. This is stuff from all over the world, all over the decades, so should be an interesting kind of layers, a bunch of different colors, so hopefully it turns out. Alright, so we've got our epoxy, our trusty stirring stick that we just randomly found in the yard, so let's get to it. So basically, we're going to lay down a layer of wax paper. Actually, no, my bad, not wax paper, parchment paper. You can use both. Parchment paper works better, from what I've heard. And then we're going to take material over here, soak it in the epoxy, take off the excess, and we just start layering it. That should be good. Alright, so first layer, we're starting with East German raindrop. Portuguese lizard. Now you want to try and line these up as best as you can. It's also best to make sure your material's just about the same size. M81 woodland. Six color desert, also known as jock chip. I don't know the proper name, but South Korean noodle camo. Malaysian bombo. This is a firefighter camo. U.S. tricolor desert. German Flecktarn. Czech VZ95. Oman Army DPM. Just got a couple with this one. Swiss Alpenflage. Australian DPM, or OzCam. British Desert DPM. Just some plain OG 507. I do want to do an entire piece of micarta just out of that. I think that could turn out really good. And I have plenty to work with. Belgian jigsaw. South Korean high school camo. Gyo Ryong Bak. Probably butchering the pronunciation of that, but really cool little niche pattern. Alright, so got it layered, kind of just square it up a little bit. Take second piece of parchment paper. Take our second piece of metal, used for the press. We're going to try our best, not make an absolute mess here that we already have, and we're going to wrap it with the saran wrap. Saran wrap is more or less just so it doesn't make as much of a mess when you go to squeeze it. It's just going to come out the sides. Come on. There we go. Ah, no. Okay. Kind of falling out the sides here. I really don't want to take gloves off, but I think I'm going to have to. Oh, I hate saran wrap. Okay, so maybe made the mistake of having a little bit too much metal. It is wanting to slide around a bit, but first attempt, everything's an experiment. So, got it wrapped up. Now, we have to clamp it down. Trying to figure out. It is still, in fact, leaking. That's cool. Ah, cool. I got epoxy in my shoe. That's great. Alright, now the most unfun part of working with epoxy has to cure for 24 hours. So we'll have to see how it turns out. Alright, it's the next day. I got it out of the press, got it kind of cleaned up a little bit. Seems to have turned out definitely a little bit messy. It shifted a little bit, but we're gonna go ahead and get this cleaned up a bit more and see if it actually turned out like we thought it did.
Why wear safety glasses?
try that again. Alright, that's belt number 2. Alright, let's try to not explode this one. I only got 2 more belts. I really need to replace this thing. Come on. Alright, well, let's grind into this and see how the layers look. So definitely an interesting effect. It's kind of hard to see like any of the camo patterns, which I mean to be expected. It's more or less just going for the multiple colors. On more of the shallow, like more angular cuts, you can kind of see it, but not enough to really justify using somewhat rare camo patterns, or slightly rare camo patterns. I'll definitely find some use for it, but kind of cool. You can definitely see where it curved and has imperfections, but for a first attempt, it is in fact micarta. It did work. Just, you know, not exactly what I was expecting. Definitely got a few other ideas. Got a couple other materials that definitely want to try. Definitely want to try just a pure like OG 507 green, because I got a ton of that lying around. But yeah, kind of cool. While we're at it, might as well do the green. I've got an old M65 field jacket liner. It's not exactly the material I want to be using, but it's the right color. It'll do. Alright, good. 26 layers out of it. Hopefully should be enough. Also, gonna add a label in there just for shits and giggles. Alright, let's do this. Alright, got it wrapped up. Once again, gotta let it sit for 24 hours. Again, the only thing I hate about working with epoxy is it's the cure time. And the mess. So it definitely turned out a lot thinner than I was expecting. Also, does have a little bit of play to it, but that could just be because how thin it is. But yeah, gonna be cool to sand it down, see what kind of color we got out of it. Alright, got it cleaned up. Now time to sand it down a bit. Also, finally upgraded the sander situation. 20 bucks on Marketplace. Can't beat it. Alright, so this definitely turned out a lot better than the camouflage. The green shows out a bit more. Now, if I take like some linseed oil to it, the colors will come out a bit more, but we don't have any at the moment. But yeah, other than it being a bit thin, definitely turned out a lot better. So the green definitely turned out better than the camo did, color-wise and just all around. I've got a couple other micarta projects I want to try. I've got one more material I really want to do, and then there's what's called the bag method, where you take basically just a bunch of fabric scraps, soak them, put it all in a bag, and compress it, almost like a forged carbon fiber, or shredded carbon fiber look. So that could have a lot of potential. But yeah, turned out pretty cool for first attempts. Definitely going to try more.